Well, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ellithorpe with Tustin Longevity Center here every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. We are the TLC Health Freedom Tribe, and we and five other health care providers, soon to be seven. We're looking on adding another two or three healthcare providers here shortly. We are looking forward to our supporting our patients and their families and their friends, trying to answer questions, any question you might have. We have functional integrative medical experience, myself for over 40 years collectively with all the healthcare providers here, our gynecologists, medical doctors, naturopathic, nurse practitioners, naturopaths, PAs. All together, we probably have nearing 100 years of experience. So we are trying to look at preventative natural ways to look at things. There's so many things on the internet. I'm always scanning and screening it and looking at what my patients are challenged with. This is not meant to be any one particular individual medical management over the YouTube. This is all for educational purposes. So if you have a concern or a health issue yourself, you need to see your own doctor. If you are one of our patients, you need to make a formal call or appointment here and follow up with your healthcare provider. So what we do is we have a live chat, and you can type in your chat questions. And what I want to do is try and go to the live chat first and see what questions are there. I see some coming in already. And then we email our questions in. So we have a bunch of emails. If you want to get on our list down on the more information here bar afterwards, you can check on TLC doctors.com, get on our email list, and then we'll email you reminders about our getting together here on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So with that, we will start with our questions. And the first question looks to be from Garden Fairy. And Garden Fairy is asking the question, are you aware of any treatments, practitioners, to help with adult scoliosis? Just got a 17-degree levoscoliosis diagnosed and I'm wondering if that may be causing my neck and back of head spasms. Thanks. Well, Garden Fairy, the answer would definitely be you should be seen in physical therapy and have someone to do an assessment, maybe even a orthopedic physician, and go through therapy to look at, I don't know how old you are or what male, female, or what your weight is. So what other challenges you might have. And then if you're female and going into menopause, demineralization is going to make the scoliosis worse. So you have to be working with functional medicine, helping those doctors to understand why you would use hormones. If you're a male, testosterone levels should be checked. And on exercises, stretching, and hydration, that would be a help as well. So yes, the answer is you need physical therapy, orthopedic assessment, chiropractic is possibly of value, and with these other things, along with enzymes for inflammation, for pain, looking at your mineral magnesium level, and hydration to keep those discs well hydrated and spongy and pliable and so forth. So yeah, you should be seen by a very good functional, orthopedic, physical therapist, and chiropractic for help. Now the next thing is a question from Outlaw. Do you help people with EMF, electromagnetic frequency protection? Well, let's put it this way. We are aware of the threat and danger of energy disturbances. So when I did my doctorate in integrative medicine in Washington to get, training in naturopathic, homeopathic energy according to Vol, applied kinesiology, Bach remedies, and these kind of things. We also did a lot of vibrational medicine, energy according to Vol. And in those courses, we learned about electromagnetic frequency and its impact in the 4G, 5G, and now maybe even 6G is being developed. So yes, we are aware of that, and we're supportive of Faraday cage materials. You can buy yardage. What is the name of that YouTube physics professor? His name on YouTube is EMP Doctor. Yeah, EMP Doctor. So if you go to YouTube and you put in EMP Doctor, you'll see a physicist show up, and he's talking all the time about, how he handles his house should there be an EMP, how he uses Faraday cloth to lay over his car or other electronics, and Faraday cages, and how to make a canopy over your bed. He talks about grounding. He talks about the amulets that you can wear and patches that you can put on your phones for electromagnetic sinks for these waves. So we try to incorporate that as well, Outlaw, into our help for our patients. So we're trying to truly do a holistic approach. But one of the other things is we talk a lot about heavy metal detoxification through chelation therapy. You must have heard on other broadcasts that we've done weekly on Dane Wigington, which is geoengineeringwatch.org. About 2 months ago, sometime in March, they did a sampling of the new fresh snow on Mount Shasta, and there was 161,000 parts per billion. That's 161,000 parts per billion of aluminum that was in the snow. So we are breathing, drinking, eating from our own organic backyards and where our chickens are or whatever. And we're all picking up nanoparticulate heavy metals, and we're turning into antenna is what's happening. So I am really encouraging, and I am doing my EDTA chelation, peeing out the lead, the aluminum, the arsenic, the mercury, the uranium, and all these various things. We do have a walk-in where our nurse will do an assessment. As long as you don't have any serious cardiac or kidney failure symptoms, we will do EDTA chelations on a walk-in basis if approved. And you can get an immune drip as well if approved. And if you become a patient, we can give you even a stronger strength detoxification from heavy metals. But we need to think about all of those things too, as far as the electromagnetic implications of all this. And then Outlaw says, have you heard of the Harmonia Pendant? It seems to work. I haven't heard of that. I'll write it down, Outlaw. Harmonia Pendant. That's for electromagnetic frequencies. So I'll check up on that for my patients. And you see, part of being a medical doctor, trying to be a good medical doctor, is understanding I am not the repository of all wisdom, knowledge, and data, but my patients are also my textbooks that I'm studying and learning from. So I thank you for that. And don't go into medicine if you don't want to be a student all the days of your life. All right, and then Harlow says, how much does your office charge for chelation and immune drip? I don't know the exact number, Harlow. I'm sure it's in the $150 range, somewhere in that, maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher, depending on how much vitamin C you want in the immune drip of vitamin C. And it varies depending on how much EDTA chelation. And Tiziana says, it's Harmonia Pendant, not Harmonia. Okay. Harmonia. Okay. All right. No A on the end. Thank you, Tiziana. You guys are the best. The greatest repository of truth is a group of people that is always trying to help one another. We are our brother's keeper. When the Lord called out to Cain and he said, "Where's your brother Abel?" And he says, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" And the answer is yes, we are each other's keeper. We need to understand how valuable we each are in God's eyes and your wonderful creation from the Lord. Then Harlow added in the chat, "That's a good price." Well, thank you, Harlow. You know, I try and keep everything absolutely as available as possible financially. We're all challenged, struggling, and we all want to make health affordable. I was just talking with my son, Talon, who manages this. My husband repairs everything. My dear husband does just about everything in this place, bless his heart. I remember starting here 22 years ago almost with him. And he was the front office man. He was my check-in medical assistant. He was my biller. He was everything to me, and he still is. So how funny is that? But anyway, talking with Talon, what are we hoping to achieve here? And I really would like to have a vision that we could assemble doctors who so love medicine and so love the people that we could put together the resurrect, you might say, the old charity hospital. Remember when hospitals and medical care was really, we had hospitals where you need to do more formal things than just an office visit. And these doctors got together for nonprofit charity, and they would create a place where there would be a high quality surgical suite or a lab or their own MRI or x-rays that we would do at a much reduced price. And that's the goal, is to create many other clinics and satellite them off, help them grow up, break away and be independent and build the same dream and build the same care for one another instead of these business management, hospital, centralized government of medicine. So that's kind of who we are. All right, so let's go to, since I don't have another question there, I'll go to an email. Grant says, "Hello, thank you again so much for taking your valuable time to do these podcasts. My question is, whenever I take the systemic enzymes, Juice Plus capsules, or alpha lipoic acid, I can feel them stuck in my throat, dissolving. I drink a lot of water with them while swallowing and afterwards. I don't seem to have this problem with any other supplement. What do you suppose is going on?" I know that these are at least the Juice Plus capsules are vegetarian-based capsules, meaning they're not made from gelatin, animal-based products. And so they are much more sticky, you might say. So what I do is, I don't have anything here. Maybe I could take one more of my digestive enzymes. So I always like to eat long before here. So I will take one of my digestive enzymes here. I'm using orthodigestin, and I always use a straw. I swish it in my mouth, maybe even a little longer, and I can feel my saliva coming, and it puts like an emulsification, you might say, around, so it slips down quicker. So Grant, what I suggest you do with your vegetarian base or gelatin based capsules, which I think ALA is, as well as Juice Plus, swish them in your mouth for a good deal, 10-15 seconds, 2 at a time at most, and then swallow them down. They should go quicker and easier and not get stuck. All right. Bettina. Bettina says, question posted in YouTube comments. How come nanokinase is not added to the systemic enzyme supplement? That used to be called Vascuzyme. Orthomolecular carries the same thing as Vascuzyme. And I helped them, in developing that. They consulted with me. And so nanokinase and streptokinase are very, very similar. And so we chose streptokinase. And so they're very similar. And that is why, Bettina, we don't have nanokinase in there, because we didn't want to have more cost and duplicate things, okay? And is it safe to take this supplement with liver problems? And the answer is yes. When I have cancer patients with metastasis to the liver and I give them these systemic enzymes, it helps break away the old damaged cells that the radiation or the chemotherapy is attacking, and helps to promote healing, because the liver is one of the most regenerative organs in your body. Hopefully that helps you, Bettina. Harlow says, what are the benefits of nebulizing with hydrogen peroxide? Well, there are many. Let me count the ways. Hydrogen peroxide is a antioxidant, and the O2 and free radical, when you inhale it, if it's in a controlled, standardized food grade solution that's aerosolized, and you squirt this, into your nose, or you inhale it in a mist form, this will help through its oxidative damage to the viruses or the bacteria or even fungi that might be trying to proliferate in the mucous membranes and cilia lining it. So that is what it does. And so it's works as a antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and works to help stimulate the immune system, and that's what it does. And how much do you use, and only as needed or as preventative? I've only seen it used and demonstrated as if there's an acute upper respiratory, or let's say you're someone, one of my patients has chronic ciliary malformation of the lung, the cilia that help brush forward the mucus so you can cough up some phlegm occasionally. She has a genetic problem, cystic fibrosis in children would be one of the kind of similar cases, but she has an adult form that's similar. And that would be a case in which certain nebulized treatments on a routine scheduled basis might be valuable, but I've only seen it used with acute upper respiratory illnesses, and I haven't needed it. I like getting hydrogen peroxide from high-dose vitamin C. Why do I say that? Because you get even more benefits. You're actually getting vitamin C with vitamins, minerals, B vitamins, and in the course of an infusion of high-dose vitamin C, hydrogen peroxide is generated. And so you get a whole body effect of this. And so I have drifted away from ever using nebulized formulations for hydrogen peroxide, and I always opt for the vitamin C high-dose strips. And we usually have openings. So call and see if there's an opening if you ever have a cold or something. Michelle says, hi there, Dr. E. Hi back to you, Michelle. Curious, what are your thoughts on this big Ozempic craze for weight loss? Thank you and be blessed. The long-term effects are well unknown, and it was not designed for weight loss. And there is now being documented a rebound weight gain afterwards. And so unless you plan to be on injectables like insulin all your life with Ozempic, it's looking like this is very transitory, and we don't know other long-term impacts of it. I try never to prescribe a drug at least the old rule I was taught as a young doctor was wait at least 5 years before a new drug is incorporated into your practice of medicine, unless there's strong reason otherwise. And Ozempic is, for that reason, not going to come into my practice. So, yeah, I'm concerned about it, Michelle. Thank you for asking. Debbie, oh, dear sister, my sister Debbie's asking a question. Dear Debbie, thank you for sharing your time to answer all our questions. What is irritable bowel syndrome? How does it develop? Can it be cured? And how? God's blessing. Well, Debbie, my sister, you always ask for a whole book volume worth of teaching. So look at irritable bowel is a term that is used that describes a syndrome, which is a complex of symptoms without any one known cause. It's the gas, it's the bloating, it's the abdominal pain discomfort, it's the alternating loose stools with constipation, it's the cravings versus the nausea and loss of appetite. And it is the variability in gaining weight or weight loss. So it's a very indistinct criterion for many, many symptoms in gut. So irritable bowel then could be triggered, we believe, by your own immune system reacting to lectins, which are food protein chemical messengers in breakdown as you are chewing them up and trying to digest them. And these fragments off of the plant kingdom are perceived by your body as alarming, invasive virus, bacteria, fungi, and so forth. Thus, the gut has about 80% of your immune system lining your gastrointestinal tract. And if God put about 80%, that means quite a bit of risk every time you eat. Something is put at risk, and he put that immune defense barrier there because you're at risk for taking in bacteria and fungi and parasites and all kinds of various things when we eat. He gives us a high stomach acid, like a pH of 1.5 to 2, so that the food is left in your stomach for a period of time into a liquid chyme, we call it, that rolls around for an hour or two to get mixed in with all that acid and that digestive enzyme in an effort to chew up the cell membranes if there's parasites, bugs, bacteria in it, the acid to destroy, and the enzymes to break apart viral particles and so forth. And a lot of people don't digest well. They eat too fast. They don't chew it enough. As they are maybe a blood type A, they don't make enough digestive enzyme. As they age, they don't make enough digestive enzyme or acid. And if they're chronically stressed, because the body isn't designed to digest food when you're under stress. If you are under a threatening situation, whether real or just perceived, and then you're trying to digest and you eat something, you're going to have competing biochemical signals between your systems and your sympathetic, parasympathetic, and you won't digest it well. Then that'll wind up getting sent down into your intestines, either at a pH that's too high, and particles that are getting through, little pieces of those plant food lectins that are harming you, even true bacteria, fungi that should have been handled. And they get through to the tube and can then alarm a secondary alarm of your immune system there. And that creates problems. And then if you're feeding the typical high carb content with your diet, you're feeding bad bacteria, which then ferment and produce gases that make you bloat and so forth. And so the story goes. And it's very real. And we doctors in integrative functional medicine have been teaching this for many decades and using probiotics and using supportive digestive enzyme and sitting and trying to explain one patient at a time, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, decade in, decade out. And finally, over the past 10 years, the College of Gastroenterology and many other allopathic physicians and research scientists are finally looking at the microbiome of the gut, all the bacteria and stuff, and they're finding out this is a right story, this is a true story, this is a most valuable story, and we need much more money invested in this to do research to help the dear people. Okay, Debbie, my dear sister, so hopefully that answers it for you. So you take your digestive enzyme, Debbie, because your blood type is A, and I want you to be a good sister and take it and live a long time because you're my older sister. All right, June, do you recommend coconut oil? I like to use organic virgin for sauteing vegetables and meats. Yes, coconut oil is really largely, mostly all saturated. And we feel comfortable and safer with coconut oil. Now, if you really want to know what I prefer butter or lard, beef tallow, those things. And so I keep my bacon grease. I buy my buckets of lard, and I have a lot of butter, and that's what I cook with. But I do have coconut oil. I do my baking with coconut oil often. And so, yes, that's fine, June. So that would be fine. Dorothy says, God bless you, and I know God is with you. Well, thank you, Dorothy. I actually went up a steep hill in one of the Griffin Park trails and came back down and went on their weight machines across from the ranger station. What a beautiful park. It feels so good to go hiking after I could barely walk at all. I'm so happy for you, Dorothy. How effective is the stretching that bounces? Is it safe to do that? I know injuries can occur from wrong stretching. I remember doing it before and was told not to bounce because it's harmful. What do you say? Well, if you are cold and you just are chilled and you get on a rebounder, or you start bouncing, and you're older, and especially if you use a drug like ciprofloxacin, some of the fluoroquinones, they have been known to create inflammation in the tendons, and they can be torn. So yes, if you don't warm up before you stretch, then you are at higher risk. If you don't drink enough water, you're at higher risk. If you don't have vitamin C in you, and remember, vitamin C helps with that collagen elastin connection to create strength instead of a loose where you would rip apart with low vitamin C and low minerals. So yeah, it all makes a difference. So warm up. In other words, you might march up and down with your feet. You might, take a brisk walk for 5 minutes and then stretch or march in place and then do that. Okay, and then the next page is, let's see, we have here, Azar has asked a question. Hi, beautiful Dr. Rita. You make me so happy, Azar, when you say hi, beautiful Dr. Rita. Sweet, sweet Azar, thank you. I used to tolerate chelation 7 or 8 years ago, but 2 years ago, I could not tolerate it. Same as vitamin C drip due to oxalate. Thanks, Adele. Well, that's interesting. Now, we're all metabolically unique. And the oxalate question, I think, is controversial with regard to vitamin C drips. And I really think that there should be more research into this, and we have that just like we have it into the drug world. But the captured FDA, CDC, and money directed by career administrative appointed scientists and physicians who learn a pathway to sure income, favored status, double dipping incomes are going to look the other way and just keep kissing the butts of pharmaceuticals and getting their corrupt scientific papers published and all the money that goes with it for these drugs. When we need some studies to put to rest whether vitamin C causes calcium oxalate stones, and in all the 40 plus years, plus, I've been around chelation. I think my grandfather was 7. I was 7 when my grandfather got chelated. So I've been around high dose vitamin C and chelation therapy. So if I'm almost 70 now, so we're going to say that's 7 years. So 61 or 2 years. I've been around this more than half a century. I haven't seen these stones ever show up. So regarding chelation and that we're all unique and we all have unique little biochemical SNPs. So I'm not denying that you're having that from that, but I would strongly encourage you to look at your water consumption and if you're getting enough salt in your diet. And we need research. So yes, that has been brought up, but no, I haven't seen it practically. Rocio says, hello, Dr. Rita. Thank you for your time. I got married 10 months ago. Well, congratulations. And I am not pregnant. Okay. I have lost my menstruation 5 months ago. Should I go to the doctor? What could it be? Well, quite a few things, Rocio. I would say you need to see a doctor, a gynecologist, of course, and get a ultrasound done of your pelvis and abdomen and a pelvic exam and a urine sample, but blood levels of your hormones for progesterone, for estradiol, for testosterone, for DHEA, for cortisol, morning and evening. The stress in your life, whether or not you exercise or not, or exercise a lot. If you're an athlete, that very often will suppress menstrual cycles. If you have polycystic ovaries and you're eating the typical American diet, that can create problems as well. So all these things should be checked. And you need to be seen by a good gynecologist and see a functional medical doctor, integrative health doctor, and then start working together to see what can be found there. A lot of people do not eat enough protein because a baby is made of protein, fat, and minerals. So I would move more to a carnivore diet. I would also get minerals tested. Zinc is very critical in the male testosterone production and fertility of the sperm. And I would go on a very low carb diet. So if you go more meat, more carnivore like, that'll solve that. And I would use progesterone cyclically for situations like that, 10 days out of every month. Like I would use it the 15th of the month to the 25th of the month. And I would check the level once you start the progesterone to make sure you're getting it up high enough. and check it 2 times a month. So we can see when you're not on the progesterone what estradiol and progesterone is, and when you're on it, so we can see how high it goes, the progesterone, and how your estradiol responds. So there's lots of things you need to check with that: zinc, your sugars, your protein, and your fats. You need healthy fats. All right. Joanne says, butter and ghee. Yes, lots of butter and ghee. Healthy fats for pregnancy. Okay. And Joanne says, I'm glad you're recommending carnivore. Yeah, my father worked in Armor Food Research. And so I don't know if it's probably time to tell the story again, especially if my sister Debbie is on watching. Dad would bring home all these holy steaks, and they were absolutely holy steaks. And my mother would be cooking them, and we'd come reverently to eat these holy steaks. And what they were there was all these nice steaks, but they would chop out holes, and they would do scientific studies on samples of it, and they would throw this meat out. And my father said, "Don't throw it out. I have all these girls to feed, my daughters." And he took it home, and we would have steak and steak and steak and steak. So I grew up, on lots of meat. So Joanne, I know what that is. Okay, there's Deborah. Yummy, my sister. Yummy, holy steaks with lots of ketchup. And that's before they used to put all that sugar, Debbie, and high fructose corn syrup in the ketchup. Yeah, I remember that. That was fun. Fun days. Fun days. We'll see Mom and Dad again in heaven. Okay, so the next one is hello, Dr. Rita, from Debbie, but this is spelled DEBI, so this is not my sister. If you eat a banana when it's still green, is there less sugar? Yes, there's less available sugar to create an insulin spike in that sense. So it's harder to digest it. Number 2, is there a specific vitamin K2 to take? Mine says MK4 as menaquinone, and that is correct. That would be MK2, M4, and there is another type of quinone called MK7, and that's a good type. Lori says, hello, my husband and I are both 65 in general good health, and we'll have our first appointment with a TLC doctor in October. Well, praise the Lord. I hope we serve you well. We're exercising regularly, cutting our carbs, close to normal weight, researching your YouTube's website and elsewhere led me to recently stop taking daily baby aspirin and my prescribed statin. All right. Now, again, that's your choice at this time. And so until you're seen by a doctor, you should follow your advice of your cardiologist or primary care doctor, but you are a free citizen and you can make a choice of yourself for your own health. And so we are for individual health. My husband will consult with TLC's doctor about getting off his prescribed statin, prediabetes, high blood pressure meds, and his daily baby aspirin. We'd both appreciate any recommendations you have for us to start following now. Can access to your online store be authorized before our appointment in October? They're working on that, Lori. I know it's being worked on right now. I know if you physically walk in, you can access it. But if you're talking about online, I don't know the details. I'm not into that part of the company. That's my son, Talon, and my husband are working that in the vitamin shop there. But we're trying to make it available to everyone online. And then the last thing she says is, can you recommend any local primary doctors having a good working relationship with TLC? We're unhappy with our closed-minded primary and had no luck finding another one on ACAM's site. I don't know where you live, Lori, but I would assume it's reasonably close to TLC if you're going to come here. And I apologize, Lori. I do not know one. I do not know one. And I think that's because they are trying to co-opt our healthcare and the experience of what a real doctor is, really co-op what a real doctor, a real teacher, a real preacher, a real, anything, butcher, baker, candlestick maker. They're trying to automatize artificial intelligence wise everything and turn us into just cattle and take away God out of the picture, reduce our value, and even to the point that they're trying to think that we can live forever by uploading our essence into a digital avatar and live forever in a artificial computer world simulator. That's what I really think. And I think patients are gravitating here because our motto on our wall is medical care as it should be, because life matters. Where care happens, health happens. So we believe there's a creator, and we believe each creation of God, each human being is a magnificent creation and a descendant of Adam and Eve. We didn't come out of a slime pit. It's a theory evolution. It hasn't been proven scientifically. I know it, they teach it as a state religion now, as if it's been proven, but it has not. I know as many astrophysicists, physicists, geologists, oceanographers, archaeologists who are young Earth creation scientists who believe the accuracy of the Genesis account, as there are referrals of those who do not. Why aren't these people heard? Are they like the Ivermectin of geology? You can't hear them because they're telling a different story. And so here we are looking for primary care doctors, and they're buying up all these practices, absorbing them into corporate companies, hospital system, and networks that all have a business model, and that poor doctor has to fit into the business model, has to obey policies, and cannot practice medicine the way they see fit, and the poor patient has to follow the rule or just get out of here or die, expire. You're just crawled out of the slime pit anyway, so you mean nothing. And I have seen this in the military. I have seen this kind of medicine practice when I was an active duty physician for years and years and years. So I'm very much angry about that, and I don't have names for you. That's why we're trying to attract the doctors. We're hiring three. The good Lord Almighty is bringing these wonderful people here, and I need your prayers and I need your support so we can teach them this, give them independence and freedom. Now, to practice good medicine, of course, and to build a healthy restorative model again to the patient-doctor relationship and that situation. All right. So I wish I could give it. And then, Lori, so what you're saying, what to do in the meantime? I would do time-restricted eating. I would set a time, maybe for you it's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. or noon to 6, and just eat in that window of time. Get some commitment to a regular exercise program, no less than 3 days a week, to have weight resistance training and aerobic with some stretching when you're warmed up. Drink half your weight in pounds as ounces of water every day. Never eat late. And I think the core supplementation that I would use is the I have to just say it. Juice Plus I have found to be the most anti-aging, antioxidant, DNA protecting, cardiovascular protective, skin thickness and beauty, microvasculature supportive of any nutrient I've seen in these decades and decades. The second one would be vitamin D, at least 10,000 international units with vitamin K2. Then I would say the third thing is a good multi-mineral. So you're getting selenium in. We have the TLC multi-min that I designed for that purpose, all those wonderful minerals. And then systemic enzymes on an empty stomach, because we lose enzymes with age. And if you're 65, I would probably say you should use digestive enzyme, at least with dinner, to help digestion, because those enzymes go away too. And then lastly, I would take iodine to prevent breast cancer, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, prostate cancer, help your mental acuity. So those are my core nutrients. Almost everyone is recommended to take, and that's how I would begin, Lori. So we had quite a few things hop up here. Let me go to our chat. Um, all right. Harlow says, when a cancer patient is full of fluid in the stomach, that's called ascites, can they recover from liver and pancreatic cancer stage 4? I have seen it happen. I have seen it happen. It's rare, but they have to work with your oncologist and with your surgeon to get that drained off. And so it's decreasing the volume of the fluid there. And they have to work with a very excellent oncologist and a functional healthcare doctor. And they would have to be on high dose vitamin C, enzymes systemically, very good tailored nutrients, monitoring the insulin and the triglyceride, fasting glucose, inflammatory molecules, triglycerides, and prolonged fasting with intermittent rich protein fat diet, no carbs essentially, and on and on. But I have seen it happen. Harlow says, what are the chances of recovery? That's too broad a question. I have seen, look at glioblastoma multiforme is a brain cancer that is typically a death sentence. It's the worst cancer. It was the one with the highest mortality in the shortest time in 12 months, these brain cancers. And mine are living, decades and years and years and years. So integrative, working with your oncologist, working with a doctor in functional medicine, working with the physiology and science of growth, stimulation, detoxing, these antioxidant nutraceuticals. You need to have both to do well. So that's what I would say, Harlow. Joanne says, I have my first appointment with TLC next month. Excited. Joanne, I pray that, we all, and we doctors here, we meet monthly, and we all talk about our core values. We all review scientific articles. We are up to date in the science. We're always pressing the edge. Every doctor comes in with a scientific article, a case study to present. We have questions. We have, so we shut down seeing patients because we're trying to lift up, kind of like grand rounds in our residencies, because money is not the goal here. It's excellency of the greatest uh, learning to take care of the most precious item on earth, which is a human being. And so I pray that we do the right thing, but nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I get a bad day. I get crabby. And so you have to just, pray for us and pray that we're able to do this. So I pray, Joanne, that it works well for you. Victor, hi, Dr. E. Great to see you. What do you recommend to deal with lung issues caused by COVID-19? CT scan revealed impact on lungs, ground glass opacity in the right lower lobe. EDTA chelation, high dose vitamin C, once a week each with systemic enzymes like Vascuzyme or Vitalzyme, a very low carb diet, eating basically more like a carnivore because all tissue is made of protein and fat, and acetylcysteine, high dose. So I would probably take 1,000 milligrams twice a day. That's very valuable for the lung tissue, and expectoration and good hydration. Drink half your weight in water as pounds, half your weight in pounds as ounces every day. Never eat past, say, 5:30 at all, ever, ever, ever. And that's what I would do. That's how I would begin the process, Victor. And that's the direction I would head, and find a good, a functional doctor and see if that jives with him. Maybe you could replay this for him. But this is our generalized approach. But of course, you're unique and you need to see your local doctor and find out, where other things are in your life. we can't give her severe kidney disease. So many things go into this decision, but it is rare that we can't do this. And so that's the answer there. Victor says also, and two adjacent solid pulmonary nodules on peripheral left lower lobe. I have been advised to follow up with CT scans every 60 days to monitor any change in shape or side pulmonary, then biopsy to determine whether they're malignant. Oh, well then, Victor, I forgot to mention, I would go on ivermectin. I would take it as 0.4 milligram per kilogram, and I would do that once a day for at least 2 weeks, and then twice a week thereafter for weeks and weeks and weeks and months, maybe even a half a year. And all my long COVIDs do better with this, and with the chelation, and with vitamin C, and enzymes, and I think Juice Plus would be great, and the multi-mineral, and acetylcysteine, vitamin D, at least 10,000 with K2, iodine, because that works helpfully as an expectorant, the N-acetylcysteine, and eat more like a carnivore. That's how I would begin to look at something with that kind of description. Deborah, a joke. Okay, here's a joke, everybody. Knock, knock. Who's there? Minneapolis. Minneapolis who? Minneapolis a day keeps the doctor away. Ha ha ha. Oh, I love my sister, Debbie. Deborah, thank you. Minneapolis. Okay, one more time. Knock, knock. Who's there? Minneapolis. Minneapolis who? Minneapolis a day keeps the doctor away. That is so cute. All right, Debbie. Let's see. What do you call an alligator with a vest on it? An alligator wearing a vest. An investigator. What do you call an alligator with its own GPS system? A navigator. I had to even think about the answer on that one. I heard another one today. Well, the old one was, how did the doctor heal the invisible man? How did the doctor heal the invisible man? He took him to the ICU. Harlow says, how much ivermectin can I take for prevention? I'm small framed, 114. Typically 12 milligrams. I've done it so often, usually 114 pounds, 12 milligrams twice a week. And Joanne says, I take prolamine iodine 3 times a week. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay. Patricia says, my 16-month-old grandson has been having recurring bouts of hives in spots all over his body for about a week. He was an emergency C-section birth and has been healthy for most part. He was breastfed for a few months, then formula. His parents did not take the shot during the COVID situation, and he was not. They have been following the typical immunization schedule. I don't know what. And he is slightly underweight. They've gone over all the checklists like any new foods, detergent already. I worry about him. Thank you. I would want to find out his blood type. I would want to get a poop study, 3 different bowel movements. That should be easy. Just get a diaper full of his pooping on 3 different days, and then send that off a complete digestive stool analysis. And I would get a blood sample for immunofoods out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for food reactivity. And this way we'll see his bacterial count, his microflora. We'll look at his reactive foods by his immune system. This is coming from his gut, I'm sure. So you need to find a good functional doctor or a pediatrician that's doing it. One of our doctors may be coming is a pediatrician. How wonderful is that? Now, she sees adults too, but it's nice to know that we have a board certified pediatrician as well. Asia says, hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. I need to have a root canal removed. Amen. Get rid of it. Do you have a trusted biological dentist you can recommend? Yeah. In Newport Beach, his name is Dr. Sun, S-O-N. I don't think it's S-U-N. I think it's S-O-N. And he's Oriental, and he's right by John Wayne Airport. So if you do biological dentist and Google that and put in Dr. Sun and Orange County, you'll see something pop up right by John Wayne Airport, and that's his office, and he's excellent. Lily says, what is a good range for estrogen progesterone blood test level when you are on both bioidentical hormones replacement therapy for menopause? I think the bare minimum to see bones build and restored and maintain, to see your skin repaired, your immune system supported, your calmness and ability to handle stress in your brain and emotions, your heart health, your bone health, and just all these things, to see benefit to all these areas. I like to see an estradiol level somewhere at least 40-50 range as nanograms per deciliter. And then I like to see the progesterone at least 4 to 6 picograms per deciliter. And so that would be what I would look for. And they automatically are done like that. So you don't have to look at the references. So roughly estrogen, the number should be about a 40 or higher. I don't think a postmenopausal woman needs to get up to 3,500 like a young girl. And then the progesterone at least a 4 to 6 range. All right, but have these checked. And we're almost done here. Hi, Dr. Rita. When you do your EDTA, do you add vitamins and minerals to the bag as well? Yes, I do. Do you add DMSA or DMPS to help the metals not redistribute to the brain? Or do you not think that's a concern, just using EDTA by itself? Thank you. Tara, I only use EDTA for my daily chelations. I use the DMSA on the day 1 challenge. And that's because the challenge is a standardized treatment protocol for EDTA and pulling out the metals, collecting the urine, and getting a reference point. So we never change that up. So the first time you do it, you will get DMSA. But I have never seen a problem over close to 62 years being around chelated people. The side effect I see of chelated people is long life and health and functionality of all the organ systems. Marilyn said, there is confusion out here on when to take what supplements. Some are best first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and some are best with food. Some are better later in the day, yet the labels don't always specify the same as medical providers do. Can you give me general advice? Thank you for all you do. I miss TLC. All right, so Marilyn, in general, fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D with K2, these vitamins are better taken with food fat. Now, they don't have to be, but they will be absorbed better. Then all the rest is just as tolerated. Now, the digestive enzymes should be taken when you eat food because you're expecting to digest food. The systemic enzymes should be on an empty stomach first thing in the morning so it can get absorbed into the system to disinflame you. So first thing in the morning and maybe the last thing at night, I tend to take it twice a day. And the rest I just put in whenever I can because I think you're splitting hairs and making everyone have stress and anal hemorrhoids over straining over a gnat, over all the little rules on this, just to sound like you're smart or something. So all the other vitamins and minerals can be taken whenever you can get it in and get it down. The fat-soluble vitamins I listed are better with food because they're fat and they're absorbed better. And the systemic enzymes on an empty stomach and the digestive aid enzymes like Digeszyme help you digest food should be taken with that. That's my general theme. That's what I've done decade after decade after decade, and it has served me well. All right. Let's see. Harlow says, that's my favorite joke about the invisible man. Yeah. And then Harlow says, I have heard that root canals are the cause of heart attacks, thyroid problems, and even cancer. What do you think? They are absolutely little stinkers. They're like termites in the core of a house. And so I don't like root canals. I would get rid of them. I would see a good dentist and try and get rid of them. I'd rather have a space in my teeth than to have a root canal. So that's how I feel. But folks, it is now 7 o'clock and my husband's waiting on me. And so I will say to you, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. It's been a great pleasure. If this is of value to you, please like and subscribe. Please share this with your friends. And God bless you. And we will see you next Tuesday at 6 in the evening. Okay, so take care. Good night, all.